What's up, Titan fans? How we doing? Welcome to a Week 10 special edition, the Veterans Day edition of the Mayo-Monday postgame show, where the Tennessee Titans lost to the LA Chargers 27-17 in LA. And real quick, look, this is a patriotic channel. I'm talking about if you see a vet, make sure you go thank a vet. You know, we got to thank them for their service and the ones who are currently serving. We wouldn't have the freedom to celebrate whether we love the country or hate the country. Either way, either way you think about it, you live here, you have your freedoms, all because of people who serve in the military or have served. So go ahead, send that thanks. And if you're thinking about serving, go ahead and see a recruiter. You know, they could help you figure it out. Don't make that regret later in life where you wish you would have served and you had the opportunity and now it's too late. Go ahead, see a recruiter. Their numbers are low. They'll take almost anyone. Just go ahead, pass your ASVAB. You can pick whatever job you want. If you score good enough, you can have whatever you want. It's jobs that can translate to the outside. It doesn't have to be flying helicopters or shooting from tanks. If that's not what you want to do. If you want to do it, go for it. But if not, guess what? You can work on computers. You can work with supplies. You can do HR stuff. It's all available. They have all the jobs in the military. It's self-sustaining. So go ahead and sign up if you want to sign up. You won't regret it. It's like a family, I'm telling you. And then after this, let's go ahead and just insert the plug real quick as people are entering the channel. If you're not following me on YouTube, TikTok, and X, make sure to follow me on all three platforms. I put out videos all throughout the week. I'm talking Monday through Friday. I do post-game videos just like today, what you're watching right now live. I also do pre-game videos. I do all sorts of videos all throughout the week, everything Tennessee Titans related. I'm talking pre-recorded videos and those YouTube shorts, 60 seconds or less to bring it to you quick, fast, and in a hurry. Then on game day, I'll do those Raw Thoughts videos right before the game. I do halftime videos, and then sometimes I even do watch parties where you can come in live, talk with me throughout the game, and give your opinion on the Tennessee Titans. I read every single comment, and we can talk Tennessee Titans, ask questions, give your opinion. It's all there for you. But let's go ahead and hop into the Tennessee Titans and the LA Chargers game. Look, they lost 27-17. Everyone predicted this to happen. I mean, if you've watched my videos, which I recommend, go ahead and look back at the NFL analyst video I did. They do their predictions every week, and this week their NFL analysts, all 10 out of 10 analysts predicted the Tennessee Titans to lose. And these guys are extremely accurate at what they do. Before this week, they were sitting at 79% on accuracy on their picks, and they knew the Tennessee Titans were going to lose. I mean, Justin Herbert, he's been a dog this year. They've been playing outstanding. But a few good things that happened throughout the game, at least in the first half. We didn't have too many Tennessee Titans, ex-Tennessee Titans, show out against us like we have in previous games. At the end of the game, we did see Bud Dupree make a sack or so. We saw Hassan Haskins score a touchdown on us, even though it was only like a 3-yard touchdown. I think he only had a couple carries, for like 6 yards or something. He scored a tutty. But, they didn't really, the old Tennessee Titans players that left the team didn't ball out on us, which is good. And I'm glad for it because it's happened time and time again. We saw it with Malik Willis. And, it's probably something we'll see consistently. But yes, we lost 27-20. The game started out pretty good in the first half, like typical Tennessee Titan fashion. Brian Callahan has that habit of scripting the first 5, 10, 15 plays. We look good coming out of the gate, and that's what happened this time. I mean, the Chargers came out. They ended up kicking a field goal right off the bat. The Tennessee Titans held strong. And then we had an amazing drive. We went 7 plays, 72 yards. And then that long play to Calvin Ridley to cap it off. That is what we've been hoping and waiting for with Will Levis and Ridley. I mean, we saw it before with D-Hop, but we haven't seen it with Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley's been, he finally busted out a little bit when it was Mason Rudolph back there, but we haven't seen it at all with Levis. But yes, he ended up getting a 41-yard tutty to Calvin Ridley, which got us the lead at the beginning of the game, 7-3. But that's typical Titans. We play good at the start. We have a good script coming out, but things typically fall apart. And you'll see later on because we ended up stopping them for a punt. Then we punted right after that touchdown. Then they drove down the field, was able to kick a field goal. Then we got in the field goal range. We made it down to like the 20-something yard line. Then what happened? The typical Tennessee Titans stuff. It was a penalty, another penalty, a sack, losing yardage. The next thing you know, we're kicking a long field goal. That should have been a chip shot, but it ended up being a 49-yard field goal, and we missed the field goal, which broke Nick Folk's streak of 20 consecutive field goal attempts. And that's just because of penalties, bad plays, the consistency. I mean, I can't even tell you how many screens we ran this game. I know the blocking was horrendous. The right side was tough. We saw Radens get burned. We saw Watson in the first few drives had like 3 penalties. It was insane, the offensive line play, especially on the right side. It's been troubling us all year long. But after the field goal that we missed, they drove right down the field, scored a tutty, and then what happens? We get the ball, we punt, then they punt, and then it's the end of half. I know we were calling timeouts back and forth to try to get as much time, to try to do a drive, but it wasn't working. Every time we did something, it didn't work. And then, of course, halftime approaches, right? And halftime, as you know, we don't make any adjustments at halftime. How many times have we scored or looked good in the first half, then the second half rolls around, and then there's absolutely nothing. We look dead in the water. Teams make adjustments. We don't adjust at all. Our defense eventually gets worn out. They can only do so much. I mean, it's hard to win games when our offense puts up 17 or less points. We end up getting 17 this game, which is the cursed number as a Tennessee Titans. I mean, we only scored over 17 points one time this season, and that was, against the Dolphins, who had Huntley as their quarterback for like 10 days. And they were a horrible team at that point in the year. I mean, they still look pretty bad. I know they got Tua back, but man, it's a 17-point curse as a Tennessee Titan. But after the half, we was like looking good at that point. We were only losing 13-7. We got the ball out of half, and so we were like, hey, here we go. We had a few scripted plays. We go down there. We kick a field goal. It's only a 3-point game at this point, so it's looking pretty good. That's not too bad against the Chargers, who had Justin Herbert, dominating all year long. But as soon as we get our field goal, what happens? 7 plays, 43 yards, score a touchdown because we had a horrible special teams play. They end up getting deep down the field. Special teams kills us every single week in and week out. It doesn't matter if it's kick coverage, punt blocking, whatever it is, or penalties on special teams. Every week the special teams is horrible. And what happens? We keep the special teams coordinator. We don't fire him. He's friends with Callahan. And, they're just letting him drive on. I mean, you might as well keep it now. I mean, we're already halfway through the season. You might as well just let it ride, because right now we only got 2 wins on the season. Coming into the week, I think there was 9 teams that had 2 wins on the season, battling for that first pick of the draft, or the top 5 slots. Now I believe there's only 6 teams that have 2 wins, because a couple teams won, like the Panthers. So that does help us out. For short term, it does suck getting a loss, because as a Tennessee Titans fans, I want us to win every single game. I mean, this is the What's Up Titans Fans pod. This is what we're for. I try to be positive. I want us to win every single game, but I know in the long run, it's better for us just to lose, because we don't have a chance of making the playoffs. I mean, I know the Jags lost. I know even the Texans lost, right? We're really not that far behind. I mean, we still got, 9 more games to play. I mean, we could end up making the playoffs if we just win. If we end up winning out, and we still got to verse our division games. We haven't played the Texans yet. I mean, there's still a chance we can win the division. We're only a few games behind the Texans. But, I mean, if we make it to the playoffs, we're losing immediately. I mean, our team is bad. There's no way we're going to, win, have a good record the rest of the season, make the playoffs, and then advance far in the playoffs with this roster, unless Levis has a massive turnaround, which I doubt will happen. But yeah, so after they score 20-10, they drive down the field. What we do, we get the ball. We have 5 plays, and then we punt the ball. Then the Chargers get the ball. They drive down the field a long 95 yards. It was their longest drive of the season, I believe. It took 7 minutes off the clock. They score a tutty. It's insane. Then, we get the ball. Of course, we punt. We did 5 plays for 3 yards. That was whenever we had the 2 penalties that happened back to back, against the Chargers, where they tried, blitzing on us. They came a little early. Neutral zone infraction, gained 5 yards, gained 5 yards. Then we went 3 and out after that, which is quite unfortunate. Then they got the ball. They punted after 3 plays. And at the very end of the game, when the game doesn't even really matter anymore, we ended up going down the field, scoring a tutty, 9 plays, 61 yards, scoring in garbage time just to bring the score to 27-17. Even though it didn't matter, we tried an onside kick, didn't work. And then the game ends once the Chargers get the ball. So, it was a tough loss, but it was a typical Tennessee Titans game. Everyone predicted it. But we did see some growth in Will Levis. He didn't make the mistakes that he made earlier in the season. Granted, he didn't slide on many occasions, right? I mean, he had the play to the outside where he could have just ran out of bounds. What did he do? He lowered his shoulder, tried to get an extra yard. Or he could have just threw it away, but he didn't. And then the very first play of the game, it was a scripted play where Levis did a read option right up the middle, and he, leaned forward, got hit, everything like that. But he still gained yards. I mean, on the day, he had 5 carries for 41 yards. So he was scrambling around. He looked fully healthy, which is good. I just hope his shoulder can hold up because we need this man out there playing. We got to see what he has. That way we can either assess if he's going to be the future of this franchise, which is probably not, or if we're going to draft someone high, which we should. We need a more accurate quarterback. I mean, on the day, he wasn't that bad, though. 18 of 23, 175 yards, 2 tutties, no interceptions. I mean, he did get sacked a lot. 7 times for 18 yards. He was holding on to the ball a long time. He does not check down. I saw on many plays where the deep receivers, where he was staring down the field, Ridley and them, they were covered, they were smothered. And you see him bouncing around the pocket or trying to step up in the pocket, bouncing. And you see Chig or another receiver that's like 5 yards in front of him who could just catch the ball and possibly break it for a bigger gain, and he doesn't do it. He doesn't check down. He just takes the sack, and then we lose yards, and those are coverage sacks, but it's also Mariota. It's also Will Levis just not checking down the ball. I mean, he doesn't go through his checks. He doesn't go through his progressions. He sees the deep ball. He wants to go deep. He says, hey, let's go deep every play. He looks. It doesn't work. He gets sacked. Tajay Spears had a pretty good day, 7 carries, 47 yards. Pollard had 9 carries, 44 yards. He did go out a little bit with his ankle injury, but he came back, like a drive later, so it wasn't too bad. Calvin Ridley, though, he got targeted 9 times. He always gets lots of targets, but the targets typically aren't the best. You see him, it just misses completely. It's completely off target. Or he's like getting double teamed or triple teamed and he can't catch the ball. Sometimes he has to be a defender on those plays just to swat it. But he had 5 catches, 84 yards. After that, it's a big drop off. I mean, NWI, 3 receptions, 31 yards, no tutty, this game. He went 4 straight games with a touchdown. He was setting a little trend or record, and it broke this week with the 0 touchdown game he had. Bryce Oliver, we did see a couple good catches. He was a practice squad call-up addition. He had 2 receptions, 23 yards. So, we did see him. Hey, maybe that's potential for a wide receiver. Maybe we should give him more shots. I mean, we have the space and opportunity right now for him, with Burks being on IR, with trading away D-Hop. Who we got out there? NWI, Ridley, Tyler Boyd, who we don't see. So, we might as well let Oliver get out there, see what he has. He did good in preseason. Let's see him against some real players. And then, Josh Wiley did have that 1 target. That was for a tutty in the end zone, right? But he was going against a cornerback. He tried jumping up, tried mossing it, but the ball was so far off he didn't have a chance. I know he's a tall target, but he's going against a cornerback. So, it was a bad decision to throw it to him. Then on defense, we ended up with 0 sacks. I know it looked like at that one point right before half we were going to take the lead when Big Jeff looked like he did a strip sack on Justin Herbert, and then McCreary picked it up, ran it back to the house for a tutty, but it got called back, right, because they said his arm was going forward, even though it was going sideways, but they said a sidearm throw is the same as an overarm throw, so it did not count. So we did not get the turnover touchdown, which, could have been a big difference. I mean, you add 7 to this, it's looking like a close game. We would have been 27-24, which is more reasonable, comeback, in hand. And it seems like something we could have done. We could have easily just kicked off the ball instead of doing the onside kick, trust our defense, get the ball back, and try to get something afterwards. Because the defense did play pretty decent. They just got put in some bad situations. And, our team does a lot of 3-and-outs. Defense gets tired. Jack Gibbons, dude, he's a beast when it comes to getting tackles. He gets tons of tackles. He's just a little slow on the field. But he has 15 total tackles, 10 solo, looking pretty good. Big Jeff, you've seen him a little bit out there trying to make plays, but, he didn't get any stats, really. He didn't get no sacks on the board. Defense did pretty solid, though. 3 pass deflects, 2 QB hits. But, hey, Herbert was running all over us. If you saw that one play when they were, like, near the goal line, and he scrambled up the middle on us, a designed run, Herbert. Then at one point, what did he do? He faked out McCreary, I believe it was. He ended up, doing a pump fake, making McCreary almost fall out of his cleats. It was quite embarrassing. Herbert was running. We do not have answers for scrambling quarterbacks. It seems to be a typical trend, right? We see these like Malik Willis when we played him. What happened? He ran all over us. We act like we don't know how to stop a scrambling quarterback. We're just lost in the sauce, and our linebackers never seem fast enough. I know Gibbons isn't the fastest linebacker out there, so it's a little tough for him. And then Murray as well. We saw what happened with him. I mean, it just doesn't look as good. We got a comment here from Tyler Maxwell. How about them Chiefs? Hey, if you're a Chiefs fan, you can do all the celebrating you want. You guys are undefeated. They're looking good. I mean, what they won on like a last-second thing this week. So, hey, it is what it is. Chiefs fans undefeated. Total opposite side of the spectrum from what the Tennessee Titans are. We are looking like a tough organization when they're looking like a dynasty. But Justin Herbert, 14 of 18, 164 yards, 1 tutty, 0 interceptions. I mean, he didn't light up the stat sheet with touchdowns, but, man, he was good out there. I know he throws the ball less this year than in previous years. They showed his stats during the game because, their head coach Harbaugh likes to run the ball a little bit more. As you see, they had 39 carries on the day. Justin Herbert did have 9 of them for 32 yards, but they had 145 team rushing yards, 2 tutties. Then with the receiving, Lad McConkey, he had 2 receptions, 52 yards. They had one guy with 5 receptions for only 30 yards. But the good news, like I said, is that they didn't have a lot of ex-Titans out there making plays. That would have hurt more. I know Hassan Haskins had his 2 carries for 4 yards with a touchdown. We did get to see him run a touchdown on us, but it was in a goal line scenario. And then on defense, they have Elijah Molden. He did get 4 solo tackles on us, but he didn't really make any big splash plays with Elijah Molden. And then we got to see Bud Dupree out there. He ended up getting 4 tackles and 2 sacks on us. That was later in the game when we were kind of forced to throw the ball. You saw Bud Dupree make plays. I mean, he was going against our right tackles, which is horrendous. Watson's bad over there. Radens had a tough game as a guard. The right side was just tough. They allowed these sacks to come right in on us. So it was a tough day. But other than that, other than Bud Dupree in the later part of the game, the ex-Titans did not light us up too much. I mean, they also had Caleb Murphy on their team, which is a Titan, an ex-Titan, but he was more of a practice squad player that would call up every now and then. He ended up getting a tackle on us. There's a lot of ex-Titans on this team. We didn't get to see Christian Fulton play today. He was out with an injury, of course. He was always injured for us as a Tennessee Titan. And he's injured for the Los Angeles Chargers. They paid him money, but he's injured, so we did not get to see him play. But yes, 27-17, Tennessee Titans lost. Tough day for us. That basically sums up this episode for today's episode. Like I said, if you're going to go out and see a vet, make sure to thank a vet. It is Veterans Day. Thank all who have served. I appreciate any service members out there. And go ahead and leave comments down below on the Tennessee Titans game. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and tighten up, baby.